Yeah, guess.
Okay, so our product was a hammock and we called it the Happy Hammock. And in our commercial, these are the concepts that we used.
So the first one is the primacy effect. And the primacy effect is when information at the start of a serial position curve or a list or video is remembered better than the information throughout. This is because what is mentioned first is mentally rehearsed through the phonological loop, so it gets moved to long-term memory. In our commercial, the first thing that we say is buy a happy hammock today. Due to the primacy effect, viewers will remember to purchase a hammock because this phrase will make it to their long-term memory as they will be mentally rehearsing the phrase throughout the presentation of the video.
All right, and our second concept that we used was the cocktail party effect. So the cocktail party effect is when salient stimuli have the ability to grab our attention, even if we are not attending to that stimulus at the moment. And stimuli such as our names have the ability to do this because they are very meaningful words to us. In our commercial, two people are having a side conversation about what their plans are for the day. And when the girls in the video hear the word hammock in the distance from that conversation, this grabs their attention and they turn their head, showing that hammock is the attention grabbing important stimuli.
Awesome. So our next concept is divided attention. And divided attention is the distribution of attention among two or more tasks, where an individual is paying attention to more than one thing at a time. So in our commercial, the scene where someone is cartwheeling right in front of the person in the hammock and they don't look up shows the elimination of this divided attention, which displays inattentional blindness, where a stimuli that is not attended to is not perceived, even though a person might be looking directly at it. Therefore, this shows the benefits of a product, as studying in a hammock allows you to direct your attention at one thing at a time.
Okay, next we have the self-reference effect. And the self-reference effect says that relating concepts to yourself aids in encoding information into your long-term memory, meaning you'll remember it more easily. It'll be easier to pull that information out of your memory. In our commercial, we make the viewers imagine themselves by saying, imagine yourself being able to focus in a stress-free environment. Also, we bring up common experiences such as being stressed out indoors that all the viewers can relate to. And because of this, they will picture themselves in the situation of being stressed and wanting to use a hammock outside, which makes them more likely to remember the happy hammock as they're associating that product with themselves.
The next concept that we have is retrieval practice. Retrieval practice is another factor that aids in encoding. This involves testing yourself more often, and when you do this, the information is more likely to make it into someone's long-term memory. In our video, we have a scene where Ashley says, "So how are you and your friends going to relax while still being productive on the next sunny day?" Then we wait for a response before the answer is given and the other members are shown shouting, "With the happy hammock." Then to practice the retrieval again, the question is repeated and Ashley says, "So how are you going to relax?" The viewers are given a second to think about their response before the video repeats and reveals the answer, "With the happy hammock." By producing this answer themselves, the audience is more likely to remember to buy a happy hammock.
And our next one that we used is chunking. So according to George Miller, people can generally only remember 7 plus or minus 2 items of a list. So therefore, normally a 10-digit phone number would be way too long to remember. So we use chunking when we say the phone number that should be used to call and order a happy hammock by saying call 1-800-HAMMOCK. So this is way easier to remember than the actual number that 1-800-HAMMOCK stands for, which would be 1-800-426-6625. So as you can see, 1-800-HAMMOCK is way easier to remember. And they'll chunk it into just 2 parts, which is 1-800 and the word hammock that has meaning. So that'll make it very easy to remember and more likely that they'll call and order in comparison to just using the plain number.
All right, and then the last concept that we decided to talk about is the recency effect. So the recency effect is a phenomenon that states that people have better memory for words presented at the end of a serial position curve, and this occurs because these words are still in your short-term memory. So in our commercial, the recency effect is showcased at the very end where the narrator repeats, "Say hello to relaxation and order your happy hammock today," leaving the audience with an increased memory for the name of our product.
Yes, so that's all of our concepts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.